Welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. It is the League of Legends elimination match, the first BO3 in Group A, and currently Team Solo Mid are 1-0 up over Origin. I'm joined once again by Deficio and Dexter, the double D combo. Let's talk about early game. Lane swaps seem to be pretty good for both of these squads. They play the script out, they don't really make major mistakes. Origin did another Rift Herald push.
Yeah,
I know you quite like that.
Yeah, I think what Origin is doing so smart is they understand the value of really getting to towers before the enemy team and pushing down a bit quicker, because then when you take the bot tower first and swap top lane after, it opens up for you to do Rift Herald, go bot lane and take that big wave the other top lane is trying to freeze, and then you push it into the enemy tier 2 and you're always faster than the other team because you have the Rift Herald buff. I think it's a super good play. So the early game Origin clearly understands. They're doing lane swap super well. Yeah,
but when does it come apart, Dexter?
I mean, the really good part about Origin was the catch on Yellowstar. Yellowstar made a really big mistake, and against a team that knows how to break properly, that would be game right there, because it opens up the map so much that you just take a second tower. But yeah, I think the TP play, I think we might have a replay or something of that.
Sadly not, unfortunately.
But what happened was Soaz actually TP'd in front of the people instead of kiting back with his team, and he got caught into the tower, and from that everything fell apart, because Bjergsen got like a free roam onto the top lane, and then Svensken came in, and then it was like a 4-4-3 trade or something. But from that, LeBlanc got like into a position where she can actually carry the game, and I think that kind of like sealed the lead, because after that, Origin really didn't do anything, and they didn't know what to do in order to win the game, because their game plan kind of failed. And I think Deficio just mentioned it, that everything is good if it's scripted, but if there's like some slight like changes in the strategy, they don't know what to do and how to adapt in-game, and I think that was like how the game turned out.
And that's why it really just collapsed at that one team fight you're mentioning, with a bit of a surprise TP maybe from Hansa coming in behind them. Again, we're talking about they're sieging that tier 2 tower up in top lane very early on. Hansa TP's in. Origin has to react on the fly. Actually, Mythy drops a ward with his team, and it's like, TP here, TP here. Power Evil does TP there. Source TP's on the minion wave, which is in front of the enemy tower. So instant then, you lose the team fighter because he gets knocked into tower. From there on and out, everything is literally Origin saying, what's our game plan? I don't know. I mean, this is our game plan. We don't need it anymore. And then it just goes like, let's roam bot lane. And oh, we get caught out. Let's go top and we get caught out. And some of these TP plays that happens, again, it feels like panic. So it's a super smart team when we talk the first 10, 15 minutes with the lane swap, everything is planned out, and then everything literally falls apart.
So let's talk picks and bans, because I can see the players are slowly filling up in the lobby. We had quite an interesting discussion about two major topics, and I want you guys to bounce off this. The first was the Bjergsen-Svensson combo, when they are on an early game jungler with an assassin or a playmaking mid laner, the impact that the two of them have, and simultaneously Soaz on a tank versus the option of running a split pusher like a Quinn. The option was available to them. What's your take on these two sort of storylines as the series is going to continue to progress, Deficio?
I'm very happy to see Team Solo Mid realize that some of the picks they were using, let's say last week in the NALCS, where it was 2 times Orianna being picked for Bjergsen, doesn't utilize Svensken as a jungler. And yeah, one thing is blaming Svensken for maybe not having the greatest split so far, but if you do not put him up to succeed, he won't. Again, he's a very simple jungler, great mechanics, he can play super aggressive if he has a mid laner who can follow him. And that's what they've been doing here, and I think it works out really well.
Do you agree? Do you echo the sentiment, and maybe talk a little about the Soaz Poppy pick?
I mean, I think for me, just, okay, what do? You have like a Lissandra flex pick, right? And you know, you have to put it mid lane the second the LeBlanc pick comes in. Maybe like a bit of disrespect, we talked about this, from Bjergsen, knowing like, yeah, I'm gonna just take this bad matchup because I know I'm gonna win it anyway. But then just putting Soaz on like a tank where he has the opportunity to actually take a Quinn and just carry the game through that, because we have seen if Quinn gets played properly, she puts like tanks down in like the Flame Horizon, you know, like 30 CS to 130 CS. And the way Origin plays lane swaps, it's like the perfect scenario. Long lanes, open up the map, play the Rift Herald strategy, have Quinn farm up, get all the farm, and then just carry the game through picks. But I don't think they have like faith or something, or confidence.
Why? Okay, so Soaz is not playing particularly well, but neither is a lot of the rest of the team. So is the option to play the Poppy the easier route, the safer route? Like, is it that much of a difference? Because we felt that game really drag out, and Soaz had some good impact with that ultimate in some team fights, but it just wasn't enough for Origin really to stand a chance.
It is the safer pick. You're not expected to carry. You're not expected to be a big split pushing threat when you pick Poppy into Nautilus. You see Source on your screen right here, obviously not looking too happy, and it's rough for Origin. losing another game. To me, because Source has been running Quinn before coming into this tournament, we know he likes to play it. We know Origin have been using this champ before, and when they have a good opportunity and then don't pick it, it's like confidence getting hit, basically, and probably Source, again, I'm guessing now, obviously we haven't heard the comps, but potentially saying, I don't feel 100% ready to pick a carry top laner right now, and you guys can trust in me to carry this game. I want to take the safe option and go for this Poppy, and we try and execute more a team strategy than individual plays. And you can't really fault them, because individual plays has been the downfall of Origin.
It's an interesting question. Maybe we'll have to find out from the players a little bit later which direction. Was it the team saying, hey, team wants Poppy, or was it Soa saying, I want Poppy? Because the context makes quite a big difference. The players are just about in the lobby. So Dexter, what would you change, if anything, going into picks and bans now?
I'm not sure if you can change much, because you know that you're like, I think it's gonna come down to like the same picks and bans maybe, that both playmaking supports are gonna be taken out probably. So put Yellow Star on like a weaker support where you can't really do anything, or it's like higher mechanically skilled. And I think the jungle matchup we saw in Italy doesn't really work out for me. I think it didn't work out this game because it was behind. Like even if it had CS up, when the TP play happened in the top lane, it was completely useless afterwards because the whole tempo was taken out. And you know that Italy is a jungler that makes tempo plays. She controls the map, she takes towers. And if that Rift Herald would have like worked out the play, it would have been like really fantastic, but it didn't. And I think that's like kind of the fault as Origin, as the whole team, that they can't play around that because the TP plays are not on point enough to actually manage to do that. And yeah, I think we should just put Amazing back on Gragas because it's by far his best champion.
Well, we'll find out. Very, very serious looks on the Origin faces as the camera is panning across on stage. Jumping into picks and bans, the first two removed. Origin have taken away LeBlanc from Bjergsen. No real big surprise there. And Alistair is the reply, targeted at Miffy, but interestingly, hurting Yellow Star as well, somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Yellow Star's best champion.
Yep.
He goes for the Janna again to get a safe option where he's not required to be a playmaker. I guess we can somewhat say the same for the Poppy pick with Source. And you kind of target out the members who haven't been performing that well individually.
Yep. So yeah, Nautilus is being banned, but it leaves open Poppy. I think Poppy or Nautilus is like not like really such a big deal because Hornsa has shown that he's really good on both champions. So I'm not sure if it's like really good. And of course, Lulu has to be banned out. It's like the best champion for Origin, and it's the only champion that can actually like set up Sven. And with the Lulu, Sven can just 1-on-9 basically.
Did TSM considering banning Braum here? Because Kallista's still up, Nidalee's still up.
That's the big one.
First pick is not super surprising.
Yeah. Nidalee's not going to be the first pick. I think Kalista first pick for Sven. I mean, when Kalista is open for one of the best AD carries in the West, you pick it. And that's also what they're doing. Like, you lock that one in. Braum almost has to come in now for Team Solo Mid because otherwise you're going to get a Braum Kalista lane, which a lot of teams have been using extremely well around the world. So I think Braum is going to be the pick coming in for Yellow Star.
Plus what?
It should be, like, if it's like the highest level, it should be Nidalee because the Gragas ban just tells me, like, I think both of these junglers right now are the strongest. And if you take away one, the other one gets like a lot of priority because Nidalee can out-tempo everyone, but Gragas gets to a point at level 6 and Runic Echoes where he can match the clear speed while also having greater teamfight presence than Nidalee. But I think Nidalee right now would probably like be really good because it gives TSM a lot of tempo in the game.
Just not a pick we have seen them use. Like they valued Lee Sin, Elise, and so on above it. Again, Braum is the expected one coming in, and then
they don't have to pick jungle. Maybe they just want to counter.
That's the thing. Like technically, right now you can even just pick your AD carry and show your dual lane completely. If you want to save more picks to see what TSM, also what Origin is picking, you can go like Ezreal Braum, and that's the safe lane.
Fiora. Yeah.
Instead, it is the Fiora. So like quite a change. Not going to see the tank. We haven't seen too many carries just yet.
Next question: should Quinn be picked? It should be in this matchup, right?
Yes, it should. In a normal situation. If you trust in your top lane and he trusts in himself, you pick Quinn into Fiora and you win that early game.
In the heart of the rift.
You win that. You have Kalista. You can go early game jungler. Combined with Quinn, you have an insanely strong laning phase in early game. Origin has shown good lane swap, so even in a lane swap situation, they should be able to get out ahead. Fiora is coming in because Hansa's been playing it a lot. Nautilus is being banned. Lissandra's ban could potentially go up there as well, so obviously a lot of top lane focus. And also, it is, to me, TSM basically saying, we know we can win that matchup. Now we take the Fiora.
Well, I've seen Soaz's Malphite a few times in the last few weeks, and we've seen Malphite into Fiora A few times.
I've never been a fan of that matchup if you're the Malphite. I think you lose lane to Fiora. But again, you become a team fighter. Obviously, she's a spade pusher, and you get hard engaged. So that's the thought behind it.
So it is going to get swapped away at the last second. But it's still a possibility because that Trundle could go into the support role. It is obviously something we've already seen in the top lane with Elise in the jungle. So both teams keeping the cards close to the chest. Nothing really surprising or shocking here. The Trundle's a little out of the ordinary, but not so ridiculous at the moment.
What I would do here right now probably is pick Corki and the jungler and then flex the AD carry to see if you get like a really good matchup, just to wait to see where the Trundle is going. Then you can actually punish the bot lane maybe or get a better matchup to not get out-tasked completely. And Lee Sin is okay into...
Sure.
It's like a comfort pick for Sven, but the matchup is like 50-50 anyway.
I mean, he was a big playmaker in the last game, and he gets a counter pick for his mid laner. Potentially by taking that Corki you talked about, because top lane is already locked in, so you don't have to show your mid laner straight up. So
also, you need a lot of magic damage, but okay, they go for Delusion.
Definitely no value on Corki from Team Solo mid so far. Or at least a lot less than what we see from a lot of other teams as a mid lane
pick. They can still pick up Corki right now.
They can, sure, as a last
It's a really good pick.
It's not super surprising when you think that in Bjergsen's hands, he could probably play something different. And we've seen how much double lift is really favoring the Ezreal primarily. But obviously in this game, he's locked in the Lucian for now. So leaving that counter pick option.
It's also really good just with Braum. Braum Lucian is really good lane. Has like really good synergy and it can like do fine into Kalista and Thresh. But okay, we see the TF.
Okay. So
what does it tell you, the TF?
I mean, we might go full global, back up Source as much as possible. Let him take the 1v1 against Fiora. And Trundle is, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, a stronger team fighter than Fiora itself, because she actually adds utility, where Fiora is all about flanking and killing the first target and then popping her ulti. But if you run like this composition, it's basically telling Hansa that he has to play like he did against Ever. Just join your team and start like trying to siege, but then Fiora loses a lot of value. So I think this is
you just play in the cards of TSM. Like you get TF and you just open up Bjergsen to like an assassin pick again, and have like a really good 2-on-2 mid lane, and then repeat the same story that has been really good for TSM, right?
Syndra, Ahri as two of the mid lane picks possible. Zed, you would stack a lot of physical damage with the Zed pick here, so I'm expecting one of the other two. But I mean, to me, this is just the early pick of Fiora going in and them saying, okay, get a spade pusher. Trundle is a good spade pusher. Then add in now a second global to actually make sure that Source, if he ever overextends and gets ganked or is about to die, or when that happens, Power of Evil joins in. But it requires Power of Evil to not get completely destroyed in this mid lane, because Twisted Fate in early skirmish doesn't offer the same amount of damage as a Syndra and Ahri, especially at level 6, because your ulti is global. Their ultis are meant to kill you, and obviously not exactly the same. Hey, Corki's here.
Yay.
Well, with the Corki locked in, I actually think that is Bjergsen's first Corki all year long. It's not something that he's played at all. A lot of assassins, a lot of mages, and now we're going to play for the poke game. So what does this tell us about the team composition here for Team Solo Mid? That screams 4-1 to me.
Yeah.
Lots of wave clear, try to get Hornsword enabled, but that's going to be difficult against the TPs and Twisted Fate.
You're not going to be allowed to play the 1-4 properly. We might see a lot more focus with the strong 4-man group they do have on trying to push down towards the tower. You have a Lucian, though, low-range AD carry. He's not that great in siege comps. Lee Sin as well doesn't offer a whole lot in a siege comp in itself.
I think Corki makes up for that, though. Like, Corki's really good at
He's basically the siege comp in itself.
He's so powerful, that's why he's being picked
first. The siege enabler.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, very quickly, based on team comps, is this Origin's last game at the Intellectual Masters World Champion? I'm seeing a nod from Dexter. Are you giving it to TSM 2-0?
I mean, I think I have to, because it tells me, like, if you don't take the Quinn versus Fiora matchup, I think you kind of lost hope. So I think TSM is going to take that 2-0, yeah.
Tefigio?
Just looking purely at the comps, I actually like the comp from Origin again. The problem is I don't trust in them to execute the composition, so that's why it goes wrong. Like if I'm looking pure pick and ban phase, Origin.
Just give me an answer.
Origin.
You say go? Origin?
It goes 1-1.
1-1, all right. We'll see who is the better analyst when we return. For now, we're going to take a very quick break, and then we're going to head to the caster desk for Game 2 of TSM Origin.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. I'm Doa, that's Uber, that's Monte Cristo, and we're back for game number 2 between TSM and Origin. Right now, TSM up a game. I don't know, think Origin can tie it up?
I don't know. I think that with the TP play that we saw in the last game, how they were really sloppy with double TPs, it surprises me that they go back to that tactic again. However, it also surprises me that TSM is deciding to go for a 4-1 split composition after their performance against Evers. So really just each team playing into their weaknesses. Astounding.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, Hornser was a bit attached to the hip of TSM now. Maybe the establishment of more deep vision, allowing Hornser to go further in those lanes on the split push, will give him more confidence in being apart from the rest of his team.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see who takes it. Obviously, Origin, it is a win or go home situation here. They have to take this game. They're out of the tournament. TSM, a win here would send them to a rematch with ESC Ever. And after the first game of the day went, I think that would be a pretty interesting best of 3. But either way, welcome to Summoner's Rift, TSM versus Origin, game number 2. And we will see who can execute comps that have kind of plagued them a little bit.
Plagued.
Better this game plagued. They've plagued them. Their bane.
Not sure about that one, even in Australia.
The bane of TSM. Well, I didn't say it was like poisonous. That's what you got to watch out for there, right? All the
Plenty of
poisonous
those.
animals.
Absolutely.
Not really a lot of plagues that I know of.
Interesting story here as well. I mean, let's think about TSM's woes last year. Let's think about the old lineup, Dyrus and Last Boy in there. One of their main issues was an inability to play around Dyrus, involve him, and also keep him from getting constantly jumped on. OG are now suffering the same problem in SOAS. He's either been getting ganked or just been very, very quiet, or unfortunately hasn't been able to make the plays. And yeah, we talked about the possibility of Quinn being picked, but it's going to be Trundle. Definitely still that question mark persists above the Frenchman's head.
I mean, when the Trundle was picked, it was maybe, you know, a little bit of a concern that Kog'Maw was going to come in for TSM, so they try to preempt it, possibly, but we'll see what SOAS can do with it. TSM invading a little bit onto this Gromp. We saw this before.
Yeah, it's trying to punish this right here, but
Yep.
TSM actually just going to walk in. So Origin will have a pretty definitive experience advantage in the laning phase early on this lane swap. They actually didn't commit to that, so the Gromp goes over to Origin in the end, and he'll start doing his best to delay, but that level 2 is going to be coming in faster for OG.
Yep. TSM's going to need to be careful in that 2v2 up and top. And so Bjergsen, you know, a little bit untested on this Corki. We'll see what he can make happen with it.
It was good to see him return back to the LeBlanc last game. And people said, yeah, now that you have double lift, maybe Bjergsen doesn't have to carry, but maybe just give him assassins. Maybe just give him those impactful champions. I mean, Corki as well, we know what he can do right now. So it'll be good to see Bjergsen now. Show us what he can do on that pick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the type of champion that you can really make plays on right now, so you think it'd be kind of right up Bjergsen's alley as far as making that work with what TSM does. But again, I mean, it's just like game 1. You know, are they going to just continuously group up as 5, make their whole game plan based around that, or will they actually be able to pull off the 4-1 split push that seemed like it would have worked really well against Ever earlier today, but never really ended up happening?
Yeah, keep some eyes on Svenskeren here and see what he's going to do, because he has gone a little bit of an interesting jungle route, Krugs to red to blue. So this is going to preempt about a 3-minute gank here, perhaps earlier than SOAS is expecting.
Yeah, SOAS may be in trouble here. Svenskeren comes in, Pillar doesn't quite lock him up, and SOAS forced to burn that summoner spell early. So no kills, but definitely a win in the bot lane for TSM.
Yeah, you compare that to what the pathing that we see from Amazing there, just clearing out the entire red side of the jungle. So that did jumpstart the gank there on the pressure. So Svenskeren actually does manage to pick a summoner spell. And there's a nice play.
Double lift.
Yeah.
Able to get away though, just a little bit of a rend there as a parting gift from Sven, but still, I mean, TSM often lane swap to try and cover this slightly weaker double lift and Yellow Star pairing in terms of synergy, especially up against a tried and tested lane like Sven and Mithy, who, I mean, look at the picks as well, got the Thresh Callista. But I think OG anticipated that lane swap, and they met them. We've got Australian lanes now. Brilliant.
Australian meta. But yes, coming in, Sven and Mithy have had that experience advantage, and that's affected them. And TSM just was a little bit late there, couldn't actually decide whether they wanted to stop the Gromp or not. And Yellow Star in trouble.
He's hooked, and he goes down, doesn't even flash. Knew he was done for, I guess. And First Blood goes over to Amazing. I think maybe he could have flashed out on that one.
He didn't have time to flash. He was hooked straight into a cocoon and then dead.
All right.
So no opportunity there. Chain CC. working very effectively and amazing, able to pick up that first kill of the game, and they're going to push and deny some CS into this turret, but this is a very different from Doublelift's power farming in the last game. They couldn't get the lane swap up, and now they have to deal with this Kalista.
And this is classic OG. They want to play around that bottom lane. You see Amazing always gravitating towards that duo lane to try and set things up. Get them ahead in lane, of course, Sven, on Kalista. Scary enough as it is. And TSM, that's where the real question mark for these guys is, between Doublelift and Yellow Star. Where's the synergy? One wants to stay in lane, one wants to leave. There are issues there, and TSM not able to protect it. OG, fight straight for the weak spot.
We've also seen Hanser now able to deny a lot of CS. Soaz has had to play very far advanced in lane, and he's been scared of that repeat gank as his jungler has been putting pressure on the top side of the map. And that means that there's a lot of CS denial going down after an early lead. But here we go, gold card.
Yeah, gold card onto Bjergsen. Pops that cleanse right away, pops a flash as well. So gets out of it at the cost of 2 summoner spells. Pretty good trade for the teleport on the Origin side of things.
Yeah, I see Smithy waltz into lane right there, and he's very concerned about flash coming in, possible hook, of course.
Yeah.
And decides safer just to go ahead and use those spells, but now Power of Evil, he's going to hit 6, and he's going to have some options.
Amazing takes a ride out on the Lantern from the TSM jungle. And like you said, Mati, now that Twisted Fate is 6, now TSM needs to be a little bit more careful. We'll see what they've got in mind. Meanwhile, Amazing getting a little bit caught here. Oh boy, could be bad. Gets out, gets to the Krugs. Thank you, Krugs. Krugs MVP.
Yeah, and they were trying to motion down towards that side of the map. Power of Evil had just hit 6. There's the ultimate coming through.
The grand challenge being laid down, and Soaz has no choice but to accept. Horns are taking a lot of tower damage and has to back away. Mythic caught in the mix, and Amazing and Power of Evil. They're on the side. They're going to get Doublelift as well. An important pick-off. Mythic flashing forward as well. He wants to try and catch on, but he may have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew.
Whoops.
He attempts to flay back on Svenskeren, but it's not going to be enough.
Man, Mythy flashed over that wall, and he was like, I immediately regret this decision.
Well, you have no cooldowns up to use. So, yeah, flashing not exactly the best idea right there, but they still are able to drive that minion wave into the top turret. Now, at the start of that fight, so we did see them motioning down. Remember, Bjergsen had just recalled, and TSM decides to try and make a play on the bottom side of the map. All right, well, it looked to me like they were just trying to push up and deny any kind of dive, but instead they find Amazing here, are able to chunk him out. They cut him off at the tri-brush. But you already won here, TSM. You already won. You know this Twisted Fate is level 6. There is no Corki, remember, and they're going to try and make this dive anyway. They had a chance just to zone him off. Here we go, right under the turret. Here comes the fight. Hanser actually takes the tower aggro right there, so he is just removed instantaneously. Mythy now here, trying to skirmish this out. Amazing coming back in, and they're going to pick off Doublelift, but then Mythy here, the flash.
I don't know. I don't know.
What was the purpose of that?
Mythy, super aggressive going forward.
He got a little bit too bloodthirsty there. Amazing had a really nice cocoon on a Doublelift during that fight, too.
Yeah,
Setting them up for the kill there.
I mean, I think the idea was right there, but each team overcommitting in very subtle ways. TSM, after they deny basically the TP play, they dive too deep and make it a possibility again, instead of just putting pressure on. And they do it when Bjergsen is nowhere near them to really help until the very end. And then, of course, when we see the kill from Doublelift on Origin, then they overcommitted and lose members of their own. So just quite sloppy from each side.
Well, Svenskeren is currently hidden, as will be spotted out by the Spirit. He's going to make his way in towards his blue buff side, as we saw Horns applying that pressure towards Soaz as well. Soaz does have that kill, though, from the dive towards the bottom side, as the turret aggro wasn't really juggled so well, so he'll be happy with that one. That's definitely what he needs to stay in this one and be a factor. And both teams just back away. TSM maybe just a moment to talk about the communication. I walked past Reggie when I went out in between games, and he said, communication's been good, let's keep it up. Let's make sure we're on the same page.
Well, it definitely did look improved over the Ever game. Not that that is saying a whole hell of a lot. But Sven here, the problem is that he wasn't involved in that skirmish. And by problem, I mean he was pushing and farming in the top side of the map. And Doublelift died. He's going to lose some of that CS too. And now they're back in standard lanes. They have to play around this. You can see Power of Evil coming down right as his ult is about to come off cooldown. And that is definitely going to scare Doublelift and Yellow Star off.
Yeah, Origin going for that blue buff. They're going to take it away. Blue buff going over to Amazing. Power of Evil couldn't quite grab it. Had to use that smite on the Elise, but worked out. Svenskeren slowed down by the pillar. Soaz trying to escape, has to flash, taking a lot of damage here. TSM wants to dive. Nice kick from Svenskeren. And as you can see, another kill for TSM, even things up. But Origin responding with a turret.
Yeah, they're also going to push up the mid lane too. So Origin has a chance here to take the turret. TSM trying to mirror that in the top side of the map with the kill onto Soaz. Now the question is, are they going to actually go after a dragon here? Bjergsen is going to have to recall after he got low. And with that Kalista, they have time to snag another objective.
Just now, that's obviously becoming a factor because we saw the double lane swap towards the top side, the 2v2. And the turret there, Haunter persisting with Svenskeren and took their time in getting it. Of course, they had to go through Soaz first, but they will take it away. It's one turret apiece.
I mean, you take the dragon right there. You have a Kalista to secure the objective. Corki is back. Haunter was chunked out in the top side, and you have Soaz who just spawned with full HP and TP. There's no reason not to take that dragon, and they let it sort of slip through their fingers.
Huh. Well, that said, Haunter's starting to get pretty big on that Fiora. Might be cause for concern down the line, but then again, you know, big CS lead for Sven down at the 80 carry position too. So both teams with kind of looming threats here. Still seems pretty even though.
They are going to have an opportunity here to come into the top side. They're trying to put some more towers down. Soaz is joining up in a 4-man push. So he may have to actually just TP straight into the bottom side right now. They know where everyone is on TSM, so he will not be dove. He's going to actually TP right now. All right.
Yeah. Well, there it is. I mean, so TP advantage for TSM for a little while.
If you think about what could have happened right there, they could have just got, like I said, taken the dragon, and by the time they took it and the pressure was coming into the top side, Soaz simply could have walked into the bottom lane. That's just some poor lane assignments there from Origin.
And they had about 6 wards over the bottom side of the map, so they had the advantage of having the players down there. They had the vision. They had control. They knew there was 2 players at TSM top side. Didn't bother with it now. The Rift Herald at least will go over towards Origin. We'll see in a moment who has tried to pick that up. Probably Amazing, I would say so.
Probably. Seems to be a jungle buff.
Ooh, and Sunfire first cape onto this Trundle too. He has been really slowed down in this game. Very afraid of the Fiora. We don't see the quick Tiamat or the quick Hydra, which is something that's rather important.
All right, well, Soaz getting aggressive onto Haunter right now. Here comes Twisted Fate, getting that gold card loaded. Oh, he has a red card, though. Doesn't want to get reposted with the stun, I suppose. Now Svenskeren comes down to try to even things up. TSM pushing back Power of Evil and Soaz. There's the gold card now. Haunter takes some damage, has to dash away. Svenskeren low, but he comes in for a little bit more attention onto Origin, and there we go. Nice pillar to force that flash out of Haunter. And Origin, again, no kills, but they do get a summoner out at least.
Yeah, they re-engaged once they realized that Amazing was coming down through the lane, and they'd be able to at least take that 3v3 with the Corki there. But still, they use the Twisted Fate gank, and they don't get hardly anything out of it at all. Some farm is onto Trundle is really the only thing in a flash, so...
I mean, that's not bad. Right now, Trundle could certainly use some farm.
Well, except I guess it's just going to be a full tank Trundle here. Who knows if he's ever actually going to be able to be a split push threat in this game.
Yeah, you kind of have to be at this point, though, don't you? I mean, you kind of have to look at, like, what can I do effectively from this point on? Is that how you kind of have to view it if you're Soaz right now?
I mean, I guess. But the thing is with Trundle, if you're going to team fight with a Trundle, you really do actually want there to be some sort of tank for you to use your ultimate on so that you can become that really powerful team fight champion, and it's just not there. So Trundle pick, I think, is confusing. I am confused by this Trundle pick.
And if that was just to dissuade TSM from going for Cogmore, is it really worth filling a slot on your team?
Play Kalista Trundle. It's a perfectly fine lane. Yeah, there's no problem with just flexing the Trundle into the support pick here.
Yeah.
You have strong siege if you have TF and Trundle in a lane, especially once he gets that Lich Bane.
It seems like, too, they just wanted to give Soaz a very, very safe top laner. You know, I mean, you've got that pillar. You can get out of ganks pretty easily. He did die once, but hasn't been as bad as, you know, like the RNG game earlier, I suppose.
I guess.
Well, I think the bar he's got that going for him anyway.
Here we go.
Teleport coming in. Looks like Power of Evil is going to come in there onto Haunter. Flash, bite. Haunter pops the ultimate riposte. And will he be able to get out? Just barely. Wow, I'm a little bit surprised Power of Evil kind of walked right into that one.
Well, he knew the riposte was coming, and he got stunned. He got stunned by his own gold card.
Yeah, went for it anyway. Fate's Call. Brings Mithy back in. Sven gets kicked out though. Double F all over him. Can they get the kill? Exhaust. Mithy pulls his AD carry back in. The culling doesn't connect. There's a nice knockup from Yellowstar. Sets up that kill for Bjergsen. TSM winning that one.
Completely given away, I guess, Sven's intention to go for a fight, or at least to get out. That's the trigger for Svenskeren, and he goes in, knocks him back. It's in complete disarray for OG now, and TSM have a bit of a strong point now. They got a bit of a power play for a few moments, and they'd love to even this Dragon total.
Yeah, they're coming back into this one, and honestly, 2 failed TPs from Power of Evil out in the mid lane. They're trying to gank for Soaz, but it just isn't working, and trying to make plays onto the Fiora is really difficult, because we're going to take a look right here. Power of Evil lines up the gold card. Flash comes in. Haunter still has his riposte, and look at that. Just stands right there, parries the stun on top of Power of Evil, and there's nothing else to be had right there.
Yeah.
Mithy just gets caught out. Then the Fate's Call has to come in, and Sven is going to get kicked out here. Svenskeren been doing well on the Lee Sin, good play, and that means that the Lantern has to come out. Mithy just sort of airballs his play.
Yeah, there's the end of that fight as well. Bjergsen picking up the kill. Mithy lucky that he could kind of eject himself from that Fate's Call so he wouldn't get kicked back along with Sven there. That might have easily been 2 kills for TSM.
Well, there was a kill onto Double Lift while we were waiting right there. So looks like he was found out actually by Sven, who hit him with the Blade of the Ruin King active. And they were able to pick up another one.
Okay, well, even on kills. Little turret lead for Origin for the moment, but TSM has that first dragon. Now let's find out what happened to Double Lift here.
More TPs.
Ah, yes.
Okay, so it's Power of Evil. Okay, so the key
That one
is
worked.
Soaz has to TP to Power of Evil and not the other way around. That's the way you line up. Also, you don't do it on Fiora, who can block your stuff.
TIL, or at least that's maybe what Power of Evil is saying. Let's carry now over towards that jungle side, and yeah, taking stock of things, like you said, pretty darn close in gold. In fact, towards the end of last game, we were at 77 to like 76k gold. Both these two teams like to play for the late one, of course, and they keep it very, very even. They're being methodical here, but there are obviously opportunities, I guess, that can go begging while you're too busy trying to cover your own rear.
Yeah, true. Origin's going to be able to grab that Rift Sculler and maybe grab the Rift Herald here. Why not?
Trying to push on through right now, and Sven, he's at that really awkward point in Callista builds where you don't have Hurricane yet, so your wave clear is just really poor, and that means Double Lift is able to just zone them out here with the help of Svenskeren. They don't want that 2v3, and they can't clear out the wave fast enough under the turret to prevent any kind of dive, so instead they take the safe play, just backing off.
Yeah, costs them a turret. TSM grabs that bottom lane one. Yeah. And they've got a lot of wards, too, in the bottom side of the jungle, too. So just a lot of control over that part of the map right now.
Probably why Double Lift wasn't deterred, obviously just having been jumped on. Knew he had safety, and that's really important for TSM. And that's kind of what Haunter struggled with when it came to split pushing last game. There wasn't vision there for him to come forward, so he just gravitated towards the middle all the time. Double Lift stepping up here, doing the job. Let's see if maybe Haunter can do it now in the top side as well, as he is splitting himself.
I just hope he doesn't start grouping with the rest of the team. He's got such a large edge in this matchup, and we see Soaz, who has apparently gone QSS now.
It's a pretty fast QSS.
Well, he needs to get rid of the Grand Challenge. That's the entire purpose of that right there, is that it prevents some of the all-ins that could be coming in from Fiora, and as long as he can stack armor, he at least has a better chance of survival. But that's what this is. This is a survival Trundle build, and this is a Trundle. It reminds me a lot of that Vladimir that we saw from ESC Ever. I don't know what this Trundle is supposed to do.
Well, hook onto Yellowstar, gets pulled into the box there, throws up the shield, takes a bit of damage. Twisted Fate might be coming in. There he is, Twisted Fate. Gets the gold card. Nope. All right, they're going to get the kill on the Yellowstar anyway.
Yeah, did land the gold card, then the execute coming in spider form from the Elise. So able to pick something up for their troubles, and can they actually crack this final outer turret here? They don't have a lot of HP to do it with, but
seems like they can.
There's not a lot of HP left on the tower either. So Power of Evil will not be necessary, and he will get a little bit of a free recall.
That's a Rift Herald for you as well. OG have always taken the time to stop by that pit, say hello, of course, and pick up the buff. And right there, it's pretty much straightforward. You group towards mid, you just push onto a weakened tower that you maybe already got from a one trade or something similar. And again, they can maybe wait. If they want to play this slow, wait for the next one. Go back, pick it up, and do the same here. As TSM obviously aren't going to show much of a proclivity for grouping in a rush at the moment if they're going to do this in the push.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the definitely the bright spots that we've seen from Origin today. And both these teams have been struggling. But one thing that Origin has been doing well that has impressed me is using Rift Herald to a very nice degree. Now, so is this just going to have to back off right now? Doesn't have wards, doesn't have a jungler there backing him up any longer. And TSM's just going to find some free time on this mid turret.
Wow.
Again, Hurricane's not done. The wave clear is only Twisted Fate. So TSM is getting a lot of just free towers right now because there's no one to clear out these minion waves if TF isn't around. Soaz can't even push very quickly. He's got Sunfire, but without that Hydra, it's just not really going to work out. So TSM just easily able to control the map right now.
And that's a big deal, too, for Origin to lose that mid lane tier 1. That makes things a little bit trickier for Power of Evil to set up those Twisted Fate ult plays.
Well, it depends on how far they push forward. If they push forward to tier 2, it makes it easier. So
I suppose, but he hasn't done that yet.
Well,
got to get there first, man.
Yeah, and I have not been impressed with the plays that Power of Evil has been making. And you know, you'd think to a certain degree maybe you'd be making plays on like with the Callista, who is already ahead, instead of trying to salvage this Trundle, who is not going to be doing much at all.
Point out here, Bjergsen just used special delivery right there to relocate towards the mid lane, not to go towards a fight. So maybe give you a bit of an insight into TSM, how highly strong they are maybe, or maybe how concerned they were about OG, you know, posturing around that sort of river area. He's getting back on his team quickly now. Soaz can cleanse that one straight off, and he goes to fight on towards Haunter, who's trying to get out.
Oh, time to TP away. Should be able to make it. Yep, gets over to the mid lane. But that's going to give Origin a bit of a teleport advantage for a while. Dragon is up, too. So now the fight is kind of the primary concern. Haunter needs to get back and heal up. We'll see if he can get some health back. And TSM, actually, they've got enough of a good position that I guess they're just going to take this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Origin not contesting at all.
Well, everybody from Origin was fading up into that top side of the map, and now everyone pinging around this Baron right here. This could be
boy,
a bit of a
wow.
danger.
Surely.
That is a 21-minute Baron being attempted by Origin right now. That's really
people.
dangerous.
They were hoping that maybe they might have a window of opportunity, but that's just not going to happen at this stage. I do like that they at least attempted it. They tried to get something back because they did commit so hard to the top side, and once the pillar was used against Haunter, he knew he could just TP out for free, and the response from TSM was good. Push out the mid lane, then to go ahead and take the dragon. Yeah, it's solid, definitely solid play there in terms of objective control.
OG, not quite RNG. Obviously, he's a team who loves the early Baron, loves to try and sneak in there and take it, but it's just high-risk play, which is kind of not what we've really seen from OG. So a bit uncharacteristic from them now as they do return back towards the mid lane. And again, TSM are applying pressure. You can see OG constantly having to take a step back. You've got Soaz splitting the bottom lane. You've got Haunter up towards the top side here. But TSM are just getting in OG's face. Look at this, no respect. Take the blue buff away. Give it to Bjergsen. Gonna allow them to poke down that much easier with that.
TSM is maybe collapsing onto Origin right here, looking for a fight. I don't know if they can quite take it.
No, they're just intercepting the minion waves, so they can't
Whoa,
push.
amazing flash cocoon onto Bjergsen. Culling used immediately to push Origin back again. That was a bit of an overly ambitious play, or was it? Here comes Soaz with the pillar, slowing nearly all of TSM. Yellowstar stopped up for just a moment. Origin trying to work their way into this fight. They grab Yellowstar. He's going to get taken down. Sven, and there's a Fate's call. Double lift in trouble. Nice play as he tries to dash out of it. That's 2 kills already for Origin, and TSM on the run. Bjergsen looking for a kill, gets 1 before he's eliminated from the fight, and we'll see if TSM can maybe escape from this or maybe stop this Baron. This is crazy.
This is a bit of a risk this early in the game. They are already super chunked out, so taking a lot of damage for this. Haunter and Svenskard are full HP. They cannot do this right now.
Yeah, they have to disengage from the Baron for the moment.
They had a chance to take mid tier 2 there, which would have been the safer play. And taking a look right here, Origin, you know, look, that flash cocoon was way too early, and this is symptomatic of Origin's problems, but Soaz does get the flank in the end. Remember, they have no TP, so it is a 5v4. Origin knows this, and they start this by picking up Yellowstar first, and then there you go. Fate's call, Double Lift doesn't have a chance, does just get flayed out, and then they're able to follow up onto Corki. Fortunately, Bjergsen makes something out of this. Amazing, just sort of walks into a Foss bomb. A little bit optimistic about his chances in terms of wrapping up that final kill.
Interesting there, you could see Soaz was just giving it a lot of breathing room there, and he was stepping back, but it was Sven and Mithy. Sven just popped the ult, said, Mithy, you're going in, got the knock up as well, and managed to definitely accumulate some decent value for OG from that fight.
And again, I like the call from Origin, and yes, they actually did win that fight, but the execution just looks off. They burned Flash for basically no reason, and now another pick got to come through.
Yeah, Power of Evil coming in, gets the gold card down onto Hanser. Easy pick for Origin. The challenge was not answered by Fiora that time.
This is the answer to Haunter. This is the answer. If Haunter was going to be that split push threat that we haven't quite seen him be, that is what OG are going to do over and over and over again. Get Power of Evil in there with Soaz, make it a quick 2v1. It's as simple as ABC, and they pick up Haunter yet again, or they go towards Haunter yet again. It's the first time, obviously, he's dropped in that fashion, but he's always being threatened by that ult play from Power of Evil.
Well, I also like the fact that now that Soaz has the Iceborne Gauntlet completed, there's another form of crowd control to lock him down so that they can actually kill him.
Cocoon into hook. Svenskeren in a lot of trouble. Gets flayed back again. Teleport coming in for Origin as well. Amazing, just trying to slow up TSM. Power of Evil comes in with the TP, but finds nobody to gold card. Meanwhile, Soaz doing work on that tier 2 turret down in bot lane.
Almost as satisfying as a Jax at full stacks there as well. Frozen domain down, Soaz can belt away at those towers, and is going to force Haunter to come towards him again. Haunter should definitely be respecting this one a little bit more, but Soaz does have to back away here. He's a bit deep.
I mean, he knows that Power of Evil can't come in on him right now. Haunter may have found a duel he can win. We'll see if he can do it. Meanwhile, a fight over by the Baron pit. Bjergsen backing away, back to the fight in bot lane. Haunter takes it, but I mean, you'd have to expect he'd win that 1v1, and without Power of Evil to come and support Soaz, there's really, nothing stopping Haunter from doing that, is there?
There's no damage on this Trundle. You really can't take that fight. Sure, you'll be able to cleanse out of the Grand Challenge, but Haunter has, he's just can shred all that armor down. The Black Cleaver, we're going to take a look at what happened here in the mid lane. Oh my, that was so greedy.
Yeah.
Wow. Coming through, just easy counterplay. Svenskeren just gets caught out all by his lonesome. We didn't actually see the start of that fight, and then...
That was fast. Get to it, get to it.
Yep, go back.
Okay.
Well, we were excited about the possible engage, but then nothing going to happen. And Soaz here doing what he can, but ulted really late too, actually. And then the all-in comes through.
Yeah.
Haunter should know what windows he has now to actually be able to aggress towards Soaz if he's split pushing. Given, of course, the Power Evil's been using an ultimate off cooldown to get there. So we'll see if he can time that properly.
All right, well, here comes the ultimate from Power of Evil. We'll see if they can make anything out of it. Amazing tries to get in there. Yellow Star completely caught. Bjergsen firing the rockets, but there's a kill already for Origin. Meanwhile, Power of Evil gets one before Doublelift gets the exchange kill. So 1 for 2 in favor of Origin at the moment anyway, but there's still a little bit of skirmishing going on in the mid lane. Looks like they're done for now, though.
Question is, are they going to go for this Baron? They have a strong secure. They don't have to worry about Lee Sin's smite with the Callista there, and Soaz just running the perimeter does throw down that frozen domain.
Bjergsen can do a lot of damage if he comes in from the side like this. They need to be careful. They're taking quite a bit.
I mean, Sven,
Baron getting lower. Doublelift right there. Svenskeren goes in by himself, gets taken down. TSM in a little bit of trouble now. Pillar slows up Bjergsen and Doublelift. Fate's Call brings in the Thresh, who gets taken down, but they did get the knockup at Doublelift. That was enough. Bjergsen on the disengage now.
So they turn and get the kills.
Okay.
And continue to move forward at least with some sort of advantage. Not actually trying to burn down that Baron or finish anything off. So more methodical play, but it's not exactly advancing this game in a meaningful way.
Yeah,
at least they can get Dragon #1 with Callista right now.
It's been very back and forth, though. I mean, TSM takes a little bit, Origin takes a little bit, and we have a very even game going into minute 28 right now.
Sven can't even take the Dragon. It's going to be intercepted right there. As Fiora comes back up, Sven going to take a peek right now.
Whoa! Power of Evil got the Dragon. Well, that works.
Wild card.
Whoops. it was a bit wild. Let's go back to that Baron fight for a moment.
Svenskeren again. Mithy's kind of got his number right now. Svenskeren comes in. He's already actually hooked by the time he does use the second proc of his Q in order to follow that one up. And Mithy popping Doublelift. Doublelift, as I said, he uses a QSS, but not going to be enough. Bjergsen will survive just because of his burst. Sven can't really follow him in yet.
Yep.
you're going to see OG spend a lot of time up here as well. So that the Baron fixation they do have, and it's part of the heuristic, their approach. It's their mindset. Baron is essential for them to be able to push forward and win. But outside of all the other things that they like to do, whether they're split pushing with Soaz or whatnot, there's, for them, a direct connection between Baron and winning game. That's where I like to draw a parallel between them and RNG. And you can see they're fixed on it right now. They're going to try and set up. Be interesting to see how the house cleaning goes for TSM now. So obviously they try and gain position because OG obviously are the ones pushing them back into their own territory here.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you know pro gamers really well, but house cleaning really isn't something that happens in my experience. Maybe this time, maybe it's time for them to turn over a new leaf.
Nearest possible equivalent, I guess. You can draw one.
Not unless the manager hires somebody to do it for them.
I was going to say, yeah, that's pretty much what it takes. TSM pushing this mid lane. Might be able to get this turret. Doesn't look like Origin's able to put up much resistance. And yeah, they'll take it.
And the speed of pushing is just so much faster on TSM.
Evil coming in, gold card and a double lift. That's a lot of damage. But man, that Lucian can do a lot in return. Culling, not quite enough, but it was close. That was a pretty aggressive move from Power of Evil, wasn't it?
I mean, it sounds weird to say about a 3-1-5 Twisted Fate, but I have really been unimpressed with Power of Evil's Twisted Fate ganks this game. Like, the use of teleport is, with Origin as a whole, usually that's a team or a communication problem, but it just has not been good.
Huh.
And he's got to be careful not to bite off more than he can chew. Double Lift will more than happily cleanse off an ECC with Mercurial Scimitar and turn around and just belt your face in. He's going to dig his heels in. Power of Evil got very, very lucky there. Back away, of course, and again and towards the mid lane. This is where it's happening. The side lane push is still a constant factor. Soaz and Haunter probably fearing Power of Evil's ability to, again, get that 2v1.
Okay, well.
Again, just a tickle to Baron.
Baron attempt number, like, 88 this game.
They didn't actually let Baron stop attacking there, so Sven will take half his HP bar down as he attempts to just clean up the vision, but with the immediate retreat, they're going to be giving up quite a few more wards and at least some clearing there on the side of TSM, who have been able to stop these Baron attempts in spite of the fact that Kalista has been there.
There's been a lot of them too, since pretty much you could do Baron to begin with in this game. But it seems like both teams are kind of pulling back a little bit for the moment. Well, TSM pushing forward, but I feel like we've seen each team play a little bit safer in the last minute or two. I'm trying to make a point, but Mythy doesn't want to let me. Fate's call pulls him to safety, throws him right back in onto Svenskeren. Nice Braum ultimate. It does end up saving Svenskeren. Gets TSM the kill onto Mythy, actually. TSM pushing down this mid lane now. They get a slow onto amazing. Hanser really wants a bit more action, but that's all they're going to get for now.
Haunter, grand challenging Soaz. Second time he's done it, he should obviously know that he has a QSS. He's going to cleanse that off there. So more of a medium challenge.
Yeah, Sven went down there too. It was a mediocre challenge, wasn't it? Yellow Star zoning out as TSM tries to take this Baron. A bit of a risky move. Svenskeren is low. Origin comes in. Wildcard's not going to do it a second time. Sorry, Power of Evil. Baron gets taken by TSM, and Amazing decides to donate his body to science. TSM will examine it and be like, yeah, pretty much a jungler we've been beating all game. Okay.
They're going to try and push up the mid lane in response, but this base race is going to be a disaster for them as Hanser is here to stop recalls and actually clear out the wave. They're going to try and kill him. Actually, he might die.
Yeah, he will.
Die.
Okay, well, all right.
Bought some time, though.
For the greater good.
4 players now going to be bearing down for TSM. They've got Baron buff, and this should be enough for OG to respect this and respond. They're going to get an inhibitor here. It's very unlikely Soaz is going to get too much more than an inhibitor turret. Power of Evil now, they're going to try and delay the backs, of course. They're going to let that troll belt away at the tower for as long as possible, but he's going to back away.
Doesn't work very well.
He has no damage.
Yeah.
There is no Hydra on this Trundle. He's got the Sheen, but it's going to be slow moving. They're going to buy a lot of time, and it's not enough.
The package brings Bjergsen in all over Soaz, and Soaz lumbering away, flashing over the wall. Rocket doesn't connect. Svenskeren chasing the Wolves. Want a piece of this too.
Do you know who has no magic resist?
Who?
It's Soaz.
You're right. That's absolutely right. Soaz, he lives though.
Does make it really hard to deal with this Corki. Really quite challenging.
Yeah.
So TSM is going to pick up the first inhibitor of the game. Just pushes straight in, calls the correct kind of base race right there. But
I mean, it's interesting. TSM's got a little bit of a turret lead. They've been able to put most of the pressure on the map for the last few minutes now. but this one still feels closer than it should, maybe. Maybe I'm being sort of distracted by earlier results today, but still feels like this one could go either way. And you got to think, too, I mean, if Origin loses this game, that's the end of the tournament for them.
Obviously, Renan's Hurricane is obviously done for Sven, so now a little bit more wave clear helping Power of Evil, which is why TSM don't quite get to settle into that comfortable 4-1 split as they try and belt down the mid. Even with this Baron buff, they're going to probably have to carve out a little bit more of an advantage before coming forward with impunity and actually getting more solid objectives.
Now, does it seem like TSM is doing what they are setting out to do a little bit better this game? We're actually seeing a bit of a 4-1 split push.
Yeah, definitely. And people might criticize Hanser for what he did in that mid lane, but actually him dying right there was perfectly acceptable considering they got basically an inhibitor for it. He delayed them so much. This is definitely a much better call there from TSM. So the shot calling is better. Hanser is actually using his lead. I mean, we're talking about a 1-3-3 Fiora, but it's also a 35-minute Fiora, so.
Yeah, well, flank attempt from Soaz gets a little bit of slowing down on TSM, but doesn't really get anyone in a position that can be followed up on. Hanser may be in trouble here, Power of Evil. Oh, wow, yeah, that riposte is pretty good.
It's so easy to do that. It's so easy.
You can see it coming a mile away.
Yeah, you literally see a gold card above TF's head, and you're like, I'm going to push E and aim it at you right now.
Smack the W key.
Tough decision.
It's not a fast-moving projectile, easy as you like. But Svenskeren is caught by a hook here. Going to be caught up for a little bit longer, but Culling comes out. Midthy going very, very low. Fate's call required to keep him even alive, and now TSM come forward.
Yeah, that's right. Hanser coming up, getting taken down, though. Maze gets the kill. Whoa! Svenskeren goes on the crazy spider ride, and he can't quite get the kill before they get back to Fountain. Whoops. Does mean that it will be a second inhibitor in favor of TSMO, except that it wasn't going to be it because they couldn't do enough damage. Oh, well.
I think Svenskeren definitely wants to get off Mr. Spider as well.
I think so, too. Went on the crazy spider ride. That's, may sound fun at the State Fair, but not so much in League of Legends.
I don't know if that even sounds fun at the State Fair, Doa.
What state would have the crazy spider? It's got to be Florida.
Yes,
Never mind.
completely.
I answered my own question there.
Brilliant.
All right. Yep. Although I suppose in Australia you'd probably have a lot of crazy spider rides too.
You have no idea. It's become a meme. Every time I chat to someone, they go, "You got spiders in Australia," but the reality is, yes, you just get used to them and they don't bother you so much anymore. You know which ones can kill you. You know which ones can't.
Well, Origin bothering TSM a little bit. Looks like they may claim this middle inhibitor, and they will.
As I said, like TSM, they delayed TSM's back. They chased him down mid. Of course, they were quite weak enough to that fight push deep. And OG, credit to them, they recognized where there was an opening there, and they get that mid inhibitor. That is definitely going to relieve some pressure for them, because mind you, their mid inhibitor still stands.
Yep, Power of Evil tries to get into position onto Hanser, and he gets close to him at least, but doesn't follow up, of course.
But guess what? Guess who's chasing whom now?
I think Hanser is going to be
Look, they delayed their recalls.
Oh,
Goodbye,
nice.
inhibitor.
Hey, guess what? I heard there's an inhibitor in mid lane with no health.
What inhibitor?
That one. Yep.
And also, nobody to defend it.
Yeah. That worked out. Okay, well, Dragon's back too. TSM is going to fall back to get ready for that objective. Baron in 2 minutes, so TSM should be in a pretty good spot. They can kill this Dragon really, really fast and then move up towards Baron, probably.
Move speed from the Dragon will help them get there a little bit quicker if they need to, of course.
Yeah. All right, let's watch that fight from a while ago.
No, it's been literally back and forth since then, so it's just a retreat right here, and the lantern is really what does it.
Get ready, here it comes.
Oh,
here it comes.
baby. So he's going to actually rappel over to the lantern, and there's the second kill. Of course, the shield there blocking some of that damage. Svenskeren just gets trapped on the side. Whoops.
Yeah, that's the dangers of the Q follow-up for Lee Sin. It's like you just hear Svenskeren go, "I regret nothing."
Wait a minute.
Oh, hello.
Actually, it's a nice daily on the recall. They already sent 2 people home, and this is going to be a fight here. They need to fight this one. Power of Evil going to be coming in. They want to box them in. They know it's a 3v5.
And, 2 fronts. Power of even gets blocked very, very quickly. Lisa Trade comes back in as Sven will get Svenskeren, who kind of was caught up on the wrong side there as well. So again, he gets caught out, but now Soaz as well. What's he doing? Surrounded by Haunter and Double Lift, but they're going to be forced back. At least amazing. Sven are also there. Yellow Star is way out of the action right now, and oh my lord, Double Lift just gets eviscerated.
Man, I feel like TSM trying to disengage. We'll see if they can pick off Hanser. Origin still chasing. There's the play. Hanser in a lot of trouble now. Repulse, but it's not going to end up getting him.
TP to the mid lane. So it's actually just TP'd straight into mid. They're going to try and end right here.
I think they may, and they have a chance. I mean, Bjergsen's there. He's got wave clear, but Bjergsen and Yellowstar on their own may not be able to defend this. I feel like for a second there, TSM became this like zombie team that just said plays over and over again and tried to make him when they really should have been backing off. Wow, Bjergsen goes for the 1v4. That's brave. Soaz gets low, Rocket does some damage, and I suppose if you don't want the other team to end you, you bring it out there. Okay, pause, all right. Oh, deep breath. Let's take stock of what's going on.
Bjergsen actually prevented them from doing Baron, so that was that was quite good.
Works.
Flash just to get enough damage onto the main tank so that they will have a very hard time doing this Baron, considering Sven is the only healthy one, and Svenskeren is actually back alive now and streaking out of the base, so... Wow, okay, so I don't know why you'd use the TP there unless you actually committed to it, and yeah, we can actually take a look at the replay coming in here. That was actually a really nice delay from Origin, but so they didn't actually have to make this TP play right here. And I think that's the big problem, is that Hanser and Bjergsen are just able to collapse. And remember that Twisted Fate doesn't have a Zhonya's Hourglass yet, so you shouldn't be making those kind of plays, basically. He had an opportunity to just take the Lantern right back in to start that one off.
Yeah. And now we see TSM still on the run.
Yeah, they're able to delay enough thanks to the Iceborne Gauntlet, where they do end up picking off a few more people. So it does go in Origin's favor, but I think there was a different way to play that.
Yeah.
You could just use Destiny to see where everybody is, and then just follow up on Mythi's engage. That's all right, it works out.
Credit to a forward thinking TSM as well, who obviously Bjergsen and Haunter saw that they could take Power of Evil out as well. I think Svenskeren in a slightly different mind also. I mean, to be fair, that could have been a heck of a lot worse for TSM having lost 2 back towards their base and
that's true.
Forced to run for the hills.
And it looks like we're about ready to get back into the game. The pause is over in Origin. We'll see if they can hold off TSM. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of a Baron here. And TSM, can Bjergsen and Svenskeren stop them? Yellowstar coming up too. A lot of low health members for Origin right now. TP coming in. We'll see if Power of Evil can make a difference. But man, they're getting low. Yellowstar gets grabbed. Baron is low too. Svenskeren coming in. Can he get it? Baron goes over to Origin. But will they lose anybody because of this? TSM with the 3v5. I cannot believe that Bjergsen didn't finish anyone off there.
Well, it was a little touch and go. Fortunately, they had the Fates call to rip people out of that pit.
It was dicey.
And Power of Evil to TP in there as well. No chance really for the steal because Sven was still full HP and able to secure that with the Rend.
Right.
Now we're gonna be resetting a little bit, and Origin with the Baron this time around have a chance here to try and actually finish off this game. They don't have Fantastic Siege, but at least the Fiora split push will be less of an issue into Baron empowered minions.
I mean, TSM had a chance to push lanes up, but look at this double lift caught a little bit, and he may be in big trouble. Yellowstar coming from behind gets slowed. They've still got the tier 2 to protect him, but it's not enough. Double lift just went way too far up that bottom lane. They wanted to push the lanes up to make the Baron push from Origin harder to accomplish, but I think now that double lift got caught, it's a little bit easier.
That's where TSM got caught last time. In the bottom lane, close to OG's base. 2 had already backed and they managed to interrupt it. So this is TSM now trying to get themselves back in it. Haunter going to chase down Amazing. There's not much you can do, really. Grand challenge out. He doesn't even need the help, but he might be collapsed on himself.
Yeah, he definitely will be. Hanser not going to be able to make it out of that one. So trading kill for kill, but that's not what TSM wants right now.
Well, especially their top lane split pusher for a jungler. That is not a good trade whatsoever.
Well, they may lose their inhibitor turret here. They don't quite have the minion wave at the moment, and actually there's a little while before that next wave shows up. So TSM getting a little bit of breathing room for double lift to come back. Not going to save their turret though, but maybe it'll save the inhibitor? No, probably not.
No, there's a Lich Bane.
Yep.
That eliminates that opportunity very quickly. Have a chance to go back onto the mid inhib now, but They will not take it. Instead, it will allow simply theirs to respawn instead. So we're still here at 41 minutes. No clear victor in sight.
Yeah, it's still a pretty close one. Inhibitor down on both sides. Baron going to be around for a little bit longer for Origin, but I would imagine that's going to be the last of the big pushes we see coming out of that buff this time around.
Really glad Power of Evil has his Zhonya's finished now, so he actually can do the kind of engages that he was showing and execute them a little bit more cleanly.
And not get 2v1 by double.
And not get 2v1'd,
Yeah, or Bjergsen, should I say. Yeah, you can always draw out that aggression as well. Bait some key cooldowns. Obviously, that is kind of the basic idea of it here as well. And just a little bit more confidence for Power of Evil actually going forward. That not only will he be able to stay alive, but he can stay alive until the rest of his team gets there, which has kind of been what's hurt him so far. Speaking of which, heading up top.
Yep.
It's time for a Baron-powered split push. Are you excited, guys?
Ooh,
I am thrilled, man. You know, kind of quietly,
it's not Baron-powered, I lied.
Sven has had a pretty amazing game. 10-2-6 on that Callista. Scary to deal with, but yeah, that split push is going to be scary to deal with for TSM. Got decent wave clear, but can they save their middle inhibitor? Yes. A little bit likely. Oh, until now, maybe. We'll see if they fight it.
No,
Power of Evil has a gold card loaded up.
They're very, very scared of overcommitting to this, and it makes sense. And again, they just don't have the best siege.
Here we go.
And they also don't have super minion pressure in the bottom lane.
Hanser has GA now, too, so he can be a little bit more cavalier about the flanks. And that's going to make Origin even more worried about committing to this.
It's crazy where we were maybe 10 minutes ago and TSM were literally pushing towards the fountain of OG, or maybe Siskaran got on the wrong train per se, but still, massive turnaround. Obviously, off the back of that Baron, OG have done a heck of a lot with it. Look at the waves pushing in now, obviously with these lacking inhibitors here for TSM. I mean, how long can they do this? How long before they actually have to fight, just try and get OG out of their faces?
Yeah, TSM, this is being well played by Origin. They're very patiently waiting for the super minion waves. They're not overcommitting. They're just slowly poking or driving the minion waves into that top turret. So no overcommitment so far. Eventually TSM is going to have to do something. They're going to have to fall back and give up an objective, or they're going to have to engage.
Yeah. We'll see that inhibitor very, very low. Double F tasked to cleanse out of that gold card.
Nicely done.
Give Origin just enough time to finish that one off. Meanwhile, Soaz taking out the top lane inhibitor turret. Almost.
Surely they fight.
Yeah, they get it. And they're going to fight. Svenskeren coming in, tries to get onto Sven. Sven hopping away, trying to get to safety. Soaz getting the back lines as well. Yellowstar protecting his mid laner. Svenskeren tries to get back to his team, can't quite do it. Here comes Hanser from behind, though, but he's getting zoned a bit by Power of Evil, and TSM has to call off the engage. Now they're on the retreat. That Cocoon nearly hit double if, too. That would have been disaster, and it still is kind of disastrous for TSM right now. Origin pushing towards that inhibitor. TSM coming back in, though.
Yeah, they've got to fight now. They've got no other choice, but double lift is just deleted, and Bjergsen on the backside has to deal with Misty. He's just going to sweep him aside. Sven is in the mix. He picks up a kill. Bjergsen trying to make things happen there. He has to cleanse off a dead Thresh's death sentence, and of course, the rest of his team are nowhere to be found. Hornster has to come straight back in, but this might be it. This might be OG pushing forward. Make it a game 3, why don't you?
Well, Hanser Bjergsen, the last line of defense between an Origin win and them going in. Bjergsen finally gets caught, and it looks like it's just going to be a bit too much for TSM to deal with. Hanser doing everything he can, but I don't think he can win this one. And it looks like Origin's going to tie up the series. GG.
Yeah, another game that was pretty sloppy from both sides, but Origin is able to take it in the end. They had a decisive push there. They actually, I think, played that last series of inhibitors quite well in order to close this game out in a very, very safe way. They forced Svenskeren to make a really, really desperate engage, but it's really the only form of engage they had. Low engage composition, tries to get back there, but he's outplayed by Sven in the back line and able to take up that kill.
And of course, as well, what's most exciting about this series now, not only is the EU hope kept alive, but we've said about both teams during this game, they are improving on executing the strategy that they're drafting into. We talked about TSM, they're playing this much better. Maybe lacked off towards the end there, but really clean execution in the end for OG. They played it safe, they played it methodically, and they come out on top.
That's right. So with that, we're going to send it over to the expert desk to have that game broken down a little bit more.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by 2 experts, and I would like them to break down the game just a little bit more, because the tempo of both Origin and TSM is significantly slower than what we've seen from the games earlier in the day. Talk to me about how and why these mid games drag out quite as long as they do, Deficio.
I mean, a big part of it is the teams making some misplays. Obviously, that then puts them behind. Either team can make the mistakes, and then they're forced to sit and defend for a bit. Also, it's the compositions. When you play Trundle into Fiora, you're not looking to win in 20 minutes. Like, you want to have these prolonged fights that sets up that TF to come in. So it is, in that case, a little bit slow-paced, but also because it's very close. Like, both teams are very even in the way they're playing. And again, there are these good moves and then a bad move and a good move from both teams, back and forth.
And Dexter, is there anything else that's breaking up this monotony of one step forward, half a step back, one step forward, half a step back?
So, I mean, the first step backward for Origin was just like the jungle pathing, because we saw that TSM had the information of Origin starting top side, so it's a 2-on-2 lane, and the 2-on-2 lane plays out like Origin's favor like heavily. We saw how hard they smashed that lane pretty much. Amazing should have just, I think it was the correct play for him to just take the 3 camps on the bot side, path into bot lane, wait until his ward comes back up, so he has like the safety for Soaz. But he didn't do it, and then Soaz kind of paid for it, and he was down 30 to 40 CS, which you don't want to do. But in the end, it really didn't matter because TF was there, and even when they like messed up a few ganks on the Fiora, just to split, like the pressure enough gives Trundle enough room to just one-on-one. And after the QSS is being picked up,
yes,
you can just one-on-one Fiora, and I think that was like should be the strategy. And I like Deficio. I think Deficio really likes the Trundle pick.
I really want to talk Trundle here because I saw people were hating on the pick. I think actually it's a super good pick in this composition because what happens in the pick and ban phase is Fiora gets locked in first rotation for Team Solo mid. So not only can you pick the Trundle fairly early, because technically you can flex it to support, and you have already seen the top lane pick. Trundle is a bit like Hecarim in the sense that if you're in a losing matchup or in a matchup against a snowballing top laner, you can build full tank from the start. That doesn't mean you will destroy him 1v1, but it means you can buy enough time. And when you then pick a Twisted Fate, basically what you're saying is, okay, Team Soulmate, you're drafting a 1-4 comp, Fiora's gonna split push. Yeah. That's never gonna happen. Because Trundle will sit 1v1 against you, and even with the QSS, he can actually technically kill you 1v1, or he buys enough time for Power of Evil to pop his ulti, or use a TP, gets to the fight, 2v1 kills him, and then there's very little you can do, because TF can always push lane first with a very long range cards. So he pushes the lane, and then he leaves the lane to go kill their Fioras who's split pushing. So this Trundle pick actually gave Soaz a champion where 1, he didn't get tested mechanically, and 2, he could hold 1v1 and wait for Power of Evil to camp for him to shut down Fiora. If it wasn't for a few misplays, this would have gone a lot smoother for
I want to
Origin.
expand on some of those misplays as well as talking more about this matchup. We've got a replay of Origin just getting caught up the middle lane. I actually thought the game may have been done here. If we roll this clip out, you'll see that TSM managed to punish Mithy and Sven, and TSM then follow into taking the Baron.
I mean, I think the idea behind that play was really good to drag Mithy in and then collapse on Sven's Kern. But now it's like Mithy just dies, and then Sven face check into 4 people and dies. If he wouldn't have died there and would have taken the Lantern, this would have been like a really, really good play for Origin. But I think the execution was just a bit like
lacking.
Yeah, it was like a little bit. But
yeah,
the idea I think behind that was like the correct one though.
It is super key though for Origin in this game. They get a Kalista pick, which is something teams normally will never give to Origin because Sven is so good on this champion. Obviously here TSM will pick up the Baron after, and this was a big part of them kind of snowballing their lead. Amazing doesn't manage to steal it, but this Kalista Thresh, what it means when you pick that as well, is that you have a winning 2v2 lane on its own against what is the weakest lane of Team Solo Mid, which is Doublelift and Yellowstar right now. So you don't even need to help them, because you have double ward at level 1 with your totems. Also, Thresh does extremely well into Lee Sin, because early on Lee Sin won't be able to insect you. So when he jumps in with Q at like level 3, you just flay him, and he doesn't get the kill.
And Deficio, you know, if you stream at home and you do an insect, if you check out plays.tv, the Chrome extension, you can actually just instantly record snippets, you can instantly upload it, and you know, it makes you look good. Share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, check it out. It's in the Google Play Store, plays.tv. Dexter, about the plays and about how the guys on the stage are handling it, it's now going into a deciding match. How much pressure, or how do you handle the pressure? Especially when you consider how many people are judging TSM and Origin. TSM, the most renowned Western team. Origin, a world semi-finalist. Yep. Like, how do you deal with that?
I think, honestly, Origin doesn't affect them at all. I think the pressure is on TSM to actually win this game, because Origin, they're like veteran players. I mean, Soaz, he has been put into this position for 4 seasons straight in a row, and when it matters, he actually like showed up with the run trundle pick right now. And if they can manage to pull back, they get like another day maybe to like reset the mindset and come into like with a fresh mind. Because right now, like we pointed out that the flaw of Origin is not playing around top lane correctly and then Source making misplays. But actually in this game, his TP into like the Baron pit where he got like a 4-man pillar was like really good and key to that, to put them further ahead. So I think it's really important they just keep doing what they did this game. And yeah, the drafting was really good in both games, I think. And the only reason why TSM won the first game was because they were like a lot better in that.
And technically, because of that, it made you wrong in game 2, because you predicted TSM to win. And Mr. Smug Deficio over here had predicted the Origin victory.
What can I say?
You're just that good?
I mean, in pick and ban phase, we talked about the value of the Trundle TF against the Fiora. It removes the win condition that Team Soul made would have with that split pushing Fiora. Again, it was super close. I actually thought I was wrong, like multiple times. I even tweeted right after saying, pick and ban phase, I think Origin is better here. But I actually think as a team, they're weaker than Team Soul.
Just own it. No, because you're going to make a prediction. Don't chicken out and like keep
I don't want to build up the ego or anything. Dexter had a good prediction. And I mean, as a team, honestly, I think Team Solar Mid is probably right now just a little bit better than Origin. But Origin, as you said, pick and ban wise, are pulling out a few new tricks, which are surprising Team Solar Mid.
Well, gentlemen, we do have to take an ad break. Just before we do head off, I want to remind everybody at home to head over to youtube.com/IEM. You can check out all of the VODs of the games that maybe you may have missed and see that really epic pentakill into Baron throw from TSM earlier in the day that actually put them into this position. Go check it out. When we come back, the deciding game of TSM versus Origin.